Lindsay here with Tuned In Press, and I'm here with Larkin Poe, and our names are?
Rebecca, I'm the younger sister. Megan, the older sister.
Younger and older. There's always got to be one, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So let's start off by talking about what you guys are most excited about, which is going to be Venom Faith, right? It comes out in 2 days.
2 days.
So how excited are you? How long did this process take to get to?
We are very excited. Of all the records we've ever made, this is definitely our favorite. And we started the record, I guess, this winter. Like back in... We started pre-production, spring. Yeah. Like March or something.
So it hasn't been a super long time. Like some artists, they've recorded it like 2 years back, and it's taken the label this long. Luckily, we're independent, so we can kind of like release it whenever. So we kind of try and keep it fresh.
Absolutely, especially considering that we literally released a record back in September of last year.
Right.
So the turnaround has been really quick, which it's great to give fans as much live music and fresh music as possible.
Yeah. So for listeners that maybe haven't heard you guys before, can you talk a little bit about your sound and what Southern Roots music is?
Yes. People oftentimes call us the little sisters of the Allman Brothers, which is a comparison that we really, really love because we grew up, of course, obsessing over the Allman Brothers. Megan plays slide guitar, and so that's a huge touchstone for our sound in terms of the aesthetic. And we draw heavily from the blues. We draw heavily from our bluegrass roots. We were bluegrass musicians as little kids. And put our own spin on it. I mean, having grown up in Atlanta, we also try to incorporate a 21st century sound palette, like big 808 sounds and some programming. I really have quite a penchant for like hip hop hi-hat patterns. So we try to blend it all together into this thing that we call roots rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool.
That's what we do.
And then recently you guys released a music video for Bleach Blonde Bottle Blues. What made you like choose this song, I guess, for the video?
I would say it was a good summary, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's a very upbeat, southern sounding track about kind of a fiery southern woman. So it just felt like the right track to kind of release first, and that's why we did the music video for that song as well. Recorded in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. And you guys, you're originally from Georgia, right?
Yes.
But you live in Nashville now?
Mm-hmm. We were born in Knoxville, Tennessee, but then our folks raised us in Georgia. So it's just been, I guess, like a 25-year homecoming for us to get back to Tennessee. Okay. So we love it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's tons of music there all the time.
So much music. I mean, when we first moved up, we had been in town for just a few weeks, and we'd already been able to play on so many sessions. Like, T-Bone Burnett called us up and had us come play on Steven Tyler's country record, and we were like, sure, we would love to come play on Steven Tyler's country record. Yeah. So it was sort of like a really good signpost for us, like having moved and that kind of activity happening. It's like, this is the right place to be.
Mm-hmm. And so are there any other music video plans with this record? Any other songs that you're thinking about in particular?
Yeah, we're hoping to. I mean, since we are independent, all of that kind of comes out of our brains, the music videos. And we've honestly been so busy this year, because not only have we been out touring for Larkin Poe nonstop, and we got to play like a whole bunch of badass festivals. We played Bonnaroo and Lollapalooza, but we were also out on the road with Keith Urban.
Right.
So literally we just finished the tour with Keith Urban a few days ago in Dallas. And we have 4 days at home next week after we finish up this little tour that we're on before we're then gone until Christmas.
Right.
And that 4-day window is the window in which we would make a music video. So we're kind of like, do we want to spend one of our off days making a video? So hopefully the answer is yes, but we'll keep you posted. You'll be the first to know.
Okay. And then can you tell me a little bit about your recording process? I know you said that you're independent, but do you guys write first, like lyrically, or music first, or do you kind of do it at the same time? How does that go?
It's always a bit of both. I would say. We definitely
try and stockpile songs before we go in the studio, but sometimes they just end up coming into being like right before we record them. Like Bleach Blonde Bottle Blues was that way. We kind of wrote that one as we were in the studio recording. So that's always fun. But the process is different for each album.
Yeah, and I would say the one hallmark for the last 2 records that's been new and that we've loved is self-producing the records. Because as sisters, we do share such a tight bond, and so we're able to move really fast together when we're solving creative problems. And so being in the studio without any impedance or anybody else's opinion, it was so liberating and so fun. And so we ended up self-producing and playing all the instruments on it and writing all the tunes except for a few covers here and there.
Yeah.
So we were just like whoosh, lean mean killing machine making these records.
Yeah, so it's just us and an engineer in the studio. It's so fun.
That's really intimate too, just to be able to write and do all that on your own.
Exactly, and I think that the fans end up getting to hear a much truer version of yourself, because anything that's on the record is what we chose to put there. It wasn't like there was any producer lobbying for ideas.
Like, this isn't radio friendly. Don't
exactly.
do it. Yeah.
So for us, you know, we're the kind of band that can make the records that we want to make being independent, and that's really, really cool space to be in.
And even being independent, there's a lot of people that I feel like when they're independent, they may not get as big as you guys have been, but you've still been with all these huge artists and been on these huge festivals. So that's very impressive. Very
fortunate. Mm-hmm. We've been able to make some really cool friendships over the years. I mean, starting out when we were little teenagers, touring with Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
Of My Aim is True, you know, and being able to have that kind of a friendship and mentorship from someone who has that much weight and clout as an artist.
Right.
I think that has just helped push us as artists and understand that you can expect a lot from yourself. And with or without a huge team, with or without a huge record label behind you pushing, you know, that there's no barrier to entry. And it's been really cool for us over the years to kind of just push ourselves.
Yeah, I can tell that you guys are just super excited about everything.
We are, which is so strange.
You're like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I know, it's like here we are, almost 30 years old, let's do this.
So Aint Gonna Cry is one of the newer songs off Venom Faith. It really caught my attention with some of the words where you're talking about swimming in bad decisions and just not being free even as you've gotten older. Can you tell me a little bit about that song in particular and what brought you to writing it?
Yeah. We were out in Los Angeles, actually, and we were running on very little sleep. And so, of course, we decided to go into the studio and write a very emotional ballad. Okay. So we wrote this song with a buddy called Adrian Gonzalez, and she's an amazing lady producer, just super powerhouse out in LA. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the lyrics just kind of fell out. Like we had decided that we wanted to write a melody that was sort of around those piano chords and like the bass, like sort of moody and cabaret style. So we'd settled on the music, but we were all sitting around just kind of talking. And sometimes songs feel like they need to be written, like they're sort of hovering just in the ether above you, and they're waiting for you to just pull them down. And that felt in that way, the way the lyrics came really quickly. And we went into the vocal booth and cut a rough vocal. And I swear to you, and I don't know if it's just because the lyric was so insistent, like, I ain't gonna cry, I ain't gonna cry, that I busted out crying on that song. And Megan and Adrian were both like, what is wrong?
You're not supposed to cry.
Wrong with you? I was like, you're this whole point of the song. But it's a song that I think resonates very deeply with that deep sense of, I wouldn't say fear, but it is a little bit of a fear of the constant change in which we exist as humans. It's like I feel when you're a little kid, you assume that at some point in time, you're going to have it all figured out and it's going to be easy and you'll know what to do all the time. Because your parents are in charge and they get it, and someday you're going to be like your parent. And then suddenly you start getting to the age that your parents were when they had you, and you're like, shit, I still don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And sort of that unsettling feeling of realization, we're always going to be in change.
And this is it. This is life, and
we're in
it's
flux.
Never going to get better, or, you know, it's whatever better is.
You have to just relax into that, I think was the point of the song.
Yeah.
And I needed to write that for myself, because it's like, just let it go, baby. Yeah. Like, it is what it is, and you're always going to be in a state of change.
You know what you just reminded me of, too, when you were saying how we should be like our parents by a certain time? It kind of reminds me of the people that they expect to be homeowners by, like, 22. And I'm like, you're not going to have your house by 22. That's okay. It's good to think that way.
Unless you're an Instagram or YouTube celebrity.
Yes. Instagram models.
You know?
They're making money.
They're making bank.
Yeah.
There's this girl that we follow on Instagram, and she's hilarious. Celeste Rose, I think is her name. Mm-hmm. Hilarious Hispanic girl, amazing. Yeah. And she's like 22 and like living in a mansion, and you're like, well, you know, and then there's that, and that's not real life.
Yeah, but some people think it is.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I know, like you were saying, like you did all this music on your own, and I didn't see that you guys normally have a featured artist on your music. This time you did, right, with Tyler Bryant.
Yeah.
What brought that about, and why did you choose him?
He's an amazing slide player.
And we've been friends with him and his band, The Shakedown, for quite a few years now, a good 3-4 years. So when it came to this song that's so rootsy and speaking about Mississippi and the Delta, he definitely came to mind as like a player who is extraordinarily gifted at playing that kind of music. And so we did want to have kind of a fun moment on the album.
Hey, bud.
Just the like trading back and forth.
And he's a Texas boy too. He actually grew up just outside Dallas, so there's that Texas connection for you. And he's just an amazing player. It was really fun to have him on the record.
So do you think in the future you guys would bring someone else on again, probably?
Yeah. I think we would love to have more features on the next album. It's just so fun to work with folks, and it definitely brings a breath of fresh air into the studio.
So I'm going to go back in time a little bit. I'm going to ask you some history kind of questions for you. So I know you mentioned Allman Brothers Band. I've heard you guys liked Creedence Clearwater Revival and Led Zeppelin. Do you feel like your music kind of like pulls from all those influences, or do you feel like it's a little different? Like, how do you feel like you vibe with those?
Oh yeah, I mean, I do think that they say, you know, you are what you eat, and I think as artists you are what you listen to a degree. So having grown up listening to so much classic rock as kids, our dad was always spinning like Creedence and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Pink Floyd and Black Sabbath. Like all of these sounds are definitely echoing in our heads, like from a very young age.
So I would definitely have classic rock sensibilities. It's definitely since we grew up listening to so much of that stuff, it can't help but seeped in. And you know, the like using guitar riffs like really heavily in the guitar riffs and that sort of thing. It's definitely an influence.
But I would say that the way in which we then depart is our pop sensibility in terms of song structure. Like we do try to write choruses. You know, I think a lot of rock bands maybe would rely more heavily on the guitar riff per se. Depends on who you're listening to, but for us, trying to have a more modern arrangement to the songs has been part of it for us.
And I'm kind of interested to see you play live tonight. My first concert when I was 7 was the Allman Brothers.
Are you serious?
That was actually
You're a child after our own heart.
Yes.
I love that. That's so cool.
I'm interested to see. I was 7 years old, and it was here in Houston. But it's a good show.
I love your parents as well.
Yeah. He was all about
bringing
that.
You out.
And I didn't see Creedence, but I have seen John Fogerty when he was doing his independent stuff.
How was that?
That was good.
Love
that was
John
probably
Fogerty.
Early 2000s, so it was a long time ago.
Gotcha.
So it's been a hot minute.
Well, we're going to have fun tonight. I mean, we really love performing live. And we have a really great band with us. So we're going to rock out.
So definitely bring it.
We're going to bring it.
So then I know we were also talking about some of the other people you've worked with, like Keith Urban, Steven Tyler, Elvis Costello. Do you feel like by working with these people, it's kind of broadened your horizons that much more musically, and that you bring a lot to the table by doing that?
Absolutely. I mean, anytime that you can be on stage with someone who's been performing longer than you've been alive, you're going to learn so much. I mean, like I said, with Elvis Costello, he's made every kind of record under the sun. It is completely unfazed by press, by any angle. Like, he's just there for the music, and he's still extremely excited about music all these years into his career, and so that was hugely inspirational for us. And then of course being on the road with somebody like Keith Urban, who is the ultimate showman, like being on his stage and being a part of this Graffiti U world tour was amazing.
Really eye-opening as well.
Super eye-opening to understand the level of effort that goes into that big Hollywood production of a show. We learned so much. So yeah, typically as an artist, I feel that whenever you can place yourself in situations when you feel uncomfortable and you're like, what do I do? This is a new thing. There's all these cameras and we gotta play to the cameras. How do we play to the cameras? Then suddenly you realize that you're growing like exponentially faster.
Right. And you're kind of pushing your limits a little bit.
Exactly.
So the other thing everyone keeps talking about is that you guys are distantly related to Edgar Allan Poe. Have you guys ever thought about writing a song kind of about him or his work, or being inspired by that?
You know, we've thought about it. I've always been scared about being too on the nose with it.
Okay.
But I would like to. If we could find the right way in which to do it, and if you have any suggestions.
I mean, his stuff was so cool. It was so interesting and dark. Like, I think you could do something amazing.
Oh, I agree.
But I think the Southern Gothic thing definitely is seeped into the lyrics already.
Yeah,
we definitely have a penchant for like very dark stories, very sad songs and morose songs. So I think that has definitely seeped into the music.
So much so that a lot of those songs haven't made it onto records because we're like, Oh my Lord, what were we thinking?
But I do think even with Venom and Faith, the songs that I've listened to so far, I feel like there's a big difference between that and, say, like, Reskinned. Yeah. I feel like there's a huge difference in the sound. It's a little bit darker and edgier, I feel like, than Reskinned was, but I like it.
Well, thank you.
It sounds great.
I would agree with you. There's definitely been a shift. You know, over the years, you can't help but sort of grow and learn your own tastes better and be more comfortable with being yourself as well, which I think is important. Yeah. To allow room for that space to grow.
And then I know you were talking about touring a little bit earlier. I saw you have some European dates as well coming up. Mm-hmm. So how is it when you go over there? Because you guys have this true, very like Southern roots sound, and I know Europeans are usually very open to new music, but how is it, honestly, like when you go over there?
It's really good. Yeah. We're very fortunate.
Actually, in the 10 plus years that we've been touring, we've ended up touring over there more than we have here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're very supportive audiences, and I think they really enjoy American roots music as well.
Wow. Especially early in our career, like whenever we were just figuring out what it meant to be a Larkin Poe, we were over there playing shows and. Sorry, we'll start that one more time. Is that bothering you?
No, you're fine.
It's good? Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, very supportive and very open to roots music, which is awesome. I mean, especially given that at the beginning of our career as Larkin Poe, we didn't have many U.S. dates to play, and they definitely welcomed us with open arms. So we can't wait to finally go back.
Yeah, and then you guys are going to Australia too, right?
For the very first time, we're going to go to
Australia.
Never been there. We're so excited.
Yeah.
I want to hug a kangaroo.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. I would too. Totally. So I saw last New Year's Eve, you guys played a humongous show that was freezing cold. Do you guys have plans for that this New Year's Eve? Something similar?
Yes, we were actually going to do a New Year's Eve show in Atlanta.
Okay.
So at Terminal West, which is this amazing venue in North Atlanta. It's really cool. So we're super excited about having some like cool features and some...
And fingers crossed for a balloon drop. I want a balloon drop.
You're like some
terribly.
kind of drop. Yeah.
Some sort of drop.
So we had a little bit of a hiccup, but we're back. And we have a few questions left. Let's see where we're at here. So my kind of fun question for you guys. So I know you're sisters. You've done a lot of touring together. Is there ever any like bickering that you can laugh about later?
Yes.
Or do you guys pretty much get along? What's the deal?
Well, one, we're really lucky that we get along super well. We've been doing this for so many years, and we've always been really close growing up and everything. So luckily, we're very on the same page.
Yeah,
we get along really well. However, we definitely know how to push each other's buttons.
Yeah.
We do. We were recently in New York City, and we had a squabble to beat all squabbles. We'd played at a really beautiful venue with Keith Urban, like the brand new friggin' arena in New York City, and there was no way to get picked up. Like we couldn't park our vehicle on site, so we had to try and catch a cab. Yeah. So we're standing outside in the rain with people walking. Like we have all of our crap. They're like, "Can we get a picture with you guys?" And we're already grumpy because we're like out there trying to catch a cab.
They mean good, though.
And they were so sweet. Yeah. And we were like, "Y'all, we're fighting right now. Like we can't be taking a picture because we're having it out like right now." You know? But then you move through it. You know, you have to blow off some steam, and you have to realize that any of the mean things that you're saying in the moment, you don't really intend them or mean them from your real heart of hearts towards each other. Right. So having patience for that and being willing to then really forgive and forget and move on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It helps.
That's good though. That you easily forgive each other.
There's no one else I would share Oreos with and watch TV in our hotel room at night, you know, like there's no one else.
So what are you guys hoping for in regards to the future for Larkin Poe? What are you looking forward to, say, in the next 10 years or so, maybe?
Wow. Whew. You know, it's the little things that I look forward to. It's having a lighting director go on the road with us so that you can perform a better show for the people. It's having the logistics be easier for our band and for the people in our crew. So what I would say is doing exactly what we're doing, but just elevated. And I think that's all you can really hope for as an artist, is to continue to take the root and core of what it is that you're doing and just make it better and bigger and shinier and more intentional. Like that's what I hope for us.
And a Grammy.
Of course. I mean, who doesn't want a Grammy?
Who doesn't want a Grammy?
That would be cool. I think our parents would really appreciate a Grammy.
Maybe.
You know? Yeah.
But they'll want to keep it.
Exactly. Our mother will have the little fat duster. Actually, it's funny. Both of our parents are doctors. Okay. So for them to have two musician children who have wound up very different, and very unexpected for them. But they've been super supportive. Over the years, they've allowed us to continue.
So I have a few just fun questions for you, and then we'll wrap up.
Sure.
So what period in history do you think had the best fashion sense?
Fashion.
Ooh, I would say. I would probably say the late 60s for me. I would never dress. I would never dress in that fashion exactly.
I feel like you could pull it off though.
Well, thank you. I used to have some bell bottoms. Okay. But then I was like, it's a little overkill. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be wearing purple corduroy flares right now. You know what I mean?
It's not the style for now.
Right? Not for now. What would you say?
I'm gonna say like the early 1900s.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I like their style.
Very, very far back.
Yes.
But it's very cool.
Back in the day.
There's some stylish people.
And then, so aside from music, what other creative things can you do or that you wish you could do?
Oh. I would say, from you, I would say you're a very creative cook. Megan's like one of those people that can get into the kitchen and just sort of be like, pull some crap off the shelf and then make this delicious meal.
I do love to do that. It's one of my favorite things, just be like, okay, what's in the pantry and what do I think I might be able to make from it?
Okay.
I would say for me, the video angle for me is something that I really enjoy. Oh, yeah. I end up doing a lot of the video stuff for our band, and so I have some different, like I work out a Final Cut Pro, and it's really fun. Like I love. I've been doing it for years now. Like I used to just take other people's songs and cut our tour footage to the song and like make it look like we were like in a badass movie. Oh my gosh. Like I was that kid, you know. I was like 15 and understanding like
video's fun though.
It's so fun. The power of that though, and I think that really informs the music that we make too, in terms of the cinematic angle, because then you're sort of thinking about like what the music video would look like.
Yeah. I love how you behind the camera, you're like, you're like
yes, video is key. Video is key.
And then, does your family have any weird or interesting traditions? And if so, what are they? For any holidays or big events?
For one, I would say for Christmas, of course.
We listen to a Christmas carol
read by Patrick Stewart every year.
And it's like, you just listen to it or watch it?
It's an audio.
We listen to it. He just reads the book.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Yeah. His performance of the book,
incredible.
It's Patrick Stewart. I would also say that we take a weird amount of pride at every family reunion. We all, as levels, have excessively short pinkies.
Now I'm looking at your pinkies, but okay.
The pinkies are all of us. If you're a level, your pinky, there's no way your pinky is reaching your second knuckle here. So everyone always is like,
oh my
at family reunions, you're like, we're really strange about this. Like, why?
Yeah.
I have a very long pinky for a level. So that's my shame.
She's friends.
It's my shame.
It's her shame.
Don't look at it.
don't look at my pinky.
So do you guys have anything to say to listeners?
We're going to be doing a lot of touring this year, the end of this year, and also heading into next year. So we really hope that people will come out and say hello. We'd love that.
And also, I love that you ask about what other creative endeavors we get into, because I think that's so important. Yeah. I think if you can bother to do something creative in your life, even if it's just coloring or walking a different way to work or just trying something a little bit left of your usual center, you're gonna find out that you're living much more presently in your life. I think that creativity is way underrated and should be sought out. Yeah, and I hope that people will bother to seek out. I'm looking deep into the soul of the camera. seek out some creativity in your life.
All right, guys, this has been Larkin Poe with Tuned In Press. Definitely check out this interview at tunedinpress.com. Thanks so much. Bye.